Well, hello everyone, it's Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps. Welcome back to this episode 7 of So You Think You Know Craps here on Mid-Atlantic Craps with my good friend Gargoyle, who is that way, or right over there. G, real quick, how are you this evening?
Doing good, doing good. Looking forward for this episode. This one is coming in from requests that we gotten through the mail and some chats. Summarize it. People want to know how different lengths of tables can affect your dice throw and what do you do to adjust and what do you adjust based on your what you see your dice doing. So we're going to cover all that here in this live in this live format here tonight.
All right, got about 40 people already watching us that were here for the pre-show. Of course, if you're watching us on the replay, you missed the whole pre-show. You missed the whole fun and games. And we would like to tell you that if you're watching it on the replay, in the comments below, put your questions that you may have missed on the live version, which is right now, in the comments. G and I will answer every one of them. Typically, I answer. G gives a long, complicated response. But anyway, he likes doing that stuff, and I don't. So, G, here we are. It's location. Tonight, we're going to do the same format. We're going to talk for about a half hour, 35, 40 minutes, and then we're going to give away. Your first giveaway tonight is what?
So we're going to draw names for the jackets, right?
Yep.
And then we're gonna do a little bit more questions and answers maybe, and some conversations. And then before the show ends, we're gonna do the coffee mug that everybody has seen, right?
Yep, the coffee mug. Yep. I can't zoom in on that right now, but yep.
Yep. And then the placemat. We did a giveaway last 2 shows ago. Stamp Placer won, and he's already sent me an email saying he loves it, and he basically said drinking coffee is going to be different from now on in the mornings. So glad you enjoyed it.
He probably throws up in it. I'm just kidding. Not you, Rick, but I'm talking about the G cup, because I don't have one. G's got my cup. I don't have one of his.
Well, there will be one set aside. Don't worry about it. I have enough for the giveaways for this year, and then for my peeps.
All right. Well, I understand that. So look, let's go ahead and get into the show. The 2 giveaways coming up about 35 minutes from now, 40 minutes from now on the first one. The second one will be towards the end of the show, and let's talk about it. Location was suggested and recommended by one of our viewers, and it deals with, like you said, where you stand, what you do, and how you play at the table. Carrie, take it away.
Yep. So I'm going to switch and go to my regular view when we throw dice, so that we can do it the proper way. So just a quick recap. We all know that tables come in different sizes at casinos, right? You got 12-footers, you got 14-footers. You have the roll to win tables, the few that are left where they have the big monitor that sits like right here, and then you have to lean over it to throw. You have the stadium craps, which is usually an 8-footer. So these are different in sizes, and doesn't matter. I mean, unless you got a lot of money and a lot of space to buy different size craps tables and practice on all of them, you have to make adjustments when you're practicing at home. That is, if you have a craps table. If you have a makeshift table that you made and stuff like that, you have to kind of readjust. So we're going to talk about how do we do that at home. Specifically, like I have a 12-footer. So what kind of adjustments I make and why? What does the dice do and stuff like that? So before we start, we're going to play a little game. So I'm going to be like Vanna White here. I have a trash can, empty trash can, and piece of paper, right? So I'm just going to put it right here, and I'm going to stand right next to it here. Let's see how many times I'll miss, but hopefully, well, I don't know, you can see it from this screen, but not that screen, but that's fine. So I'm going to just stand right here and throw it. All right? Now, I'm I'm gonna take one step, stand right here, and do the same thing.
Give it a little more
Now-
effort, G.
Well, exactly, because I moved away, I gotta put a little bit more effort. So I gotta do something different. Now, I step back a little bit more. I gotta do something different. I can't do the same thing because it's just gonna fall right before it. So I either have to throw it higher or harder. So I gotta do like something like this, and it hit the rim. Let's do it again. See, I'm bad at this stuff. I don't know why I'm doing YouTube shows. There we go. Now I'm gonna move a little bit further. From here, all the way. Let's see, can he make the shot? Off the rim,
Off the rail.
off the rail. All right, now why did we do this exercise? Well, because believe it or not, you're gonna do this when you're rolling the dice. On a 12-footer, on a 12-foot, you're going to throw the dice basically from this distance. If you can't see, you can see it on this side. I have these painter's tape right here and here. This was measured on my local in Cherokee. This is the 12-footer. So the rail basically starts here. This part right here starts here in Cherokee on a 12-foot table. On the crapless 14-footer, it starts right here. And I took a laser measurement and I put it at the end, and I measured all their tables, and they all measured the same, the 12-footer and the 14-footer. And I even measured the stadium. So I have these. When I came home, I measured, and I know I don't stand like this. I don't stand like this. I stand like this. That tape and my hand, now I have the right distance from the back wall on stick right 1 on a 12-footer. I stand like this. Now I'm at the right position on stick right 2 on a 12-footer or stick right 1 on a 14-footer. All right? So first of all, I made sure that where I practice is in the right space. Now, where it starts getting a little bit murky is on straight out. So on straight out, mine is maybe 1 or 2 inches different for a 12-footer, but on a, you can't throw, excuse me, you can't throw you can't practice for a 14-footer on a 12-footer, right? So why do I say that? Well, some people, because I see them all the time, people that have a 12-footer try to throw on a 14-footer from straight out because they just want to, try something new, and then the dice just lands, right here and never get to the back wall, and they start getting called out. Others that have 12-footer, but they 14-footer, but they want to throw on a 12-footer, and all you see them do all day long is the dice just hits this part right here really hard, and they scatter, and they're wondering why it's happened. Well, because you're throwing with this much difference. So folks gotta be smart. Practice like you play like you practice. If you walk up to a table and your position is not available and you don't know how to throw from other positions because you haven't practiced, you shouldn't put your real money and play with it. This is now really gambling. This is called true gambling. Anyways, going back to what we're doing. So, we come here, we have our position, and I'm just gonna do like my 2-finger grip and toss. But we do it, the dice just lands right there. All right, now, I'm gonna move to stick right 2. Now what's gonna change? I have to make adjustments. So let's talk about the adjustments. Depending on the toss that you're doing. Most people do the par toss or the on-axis toss, right? In order to get it to your landing zone, you either have to switch your landing zone, or you have to switch how you're throwing the dice, or both. So I'm gonna bother you, Jeff, and if you can zoom in on this screen right here.
Sure. Yep, just
Right
one
here.
second. I am zooming in right now.
All right, so if you're used to your landing zone being here, all right, and you move further from, about, I say a foot, let's say. Now, if you don't change anything, your dice is gonna land right here. That's about a foot, right?
Mhm.
So you're gonna either have to throw the dice harder or higher, or a combination of both, in order to hit your landing zone. Let me say that again, and I'm gonna bring my two preferred dice, the big dice.
Oops,
You're
wrong
either gonna
screen.
have to throw the
Carry on.
dice harder to make it here on your landing zone, or higher so that you can drop here. Now, what's the good, bad, and ugly about this? Well, if you throw the dice harder straight, they're gonna hit the wall, back wall hard, which may not be what you want. You're trying to influence the dice to softly hit the back wall. So you may have to adjust your landing zone a little bit further, so that when they land, they lose velocity and steam going to the back wall. All right? That's one option. You can throw them higher. The problem with throwing higher is that the higher your dice, the more power they're going to do when they hit the table. They're going to hit it with more power than if they're on a shorter angle. When I say power, it's the force, right? So if you throw something this high and they land, that's barely anything. But if you throw it really up high in the air and it lands with an amount of force. It's going to bounce higher. The other thing, the reason why I don't like high tosses, but I accept the drop shot because I do it very well, is because if one of your die moves in the air like this, just a tad, on a low arc, it's not going to make a difference. On a high arc, the higher it stays in the air, the more it's going to move. So there's a difference of your dice landing like this or like that. This is a game of millimeters of millimeters of millimeters, because you're trying to influence a pair of dice that are flaky to begin with because of all the things that happen at the craps table, and any little misalignment, misadjustment of how they land, whether they land slightly on their edge, very much on their edge, can cause you a lot of variance. So you have to kind of see, okay, what's the medium? And only you can decide. And then you're going to add the table bounce in the mix. If it's a hard surface, you can make certain adjustments to a more extreme and still not affect it that much. On a bouncier table, you're definitely not going to launch them high, because they're going to land and go all over the place. So you want to try on a bouncy table, you want to keep them low, which means that you're going to have to either add more velocity or change your landing zone. Now, let's put that into practice. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm just going to use, because people will say, oh, look, he threw a 7, This is not about throwing 7s or not. This is just about demonstrating what we're trying to do and how we adjust. So we keep it low, and then we throw it. And it landed right here. All right? Now, for me, that is not a good landing zone, because as soon as it landed, one die went like this because it landed and hit the back wall hard. So a good landing zone for me is here. This is just based on an observation. One of the questions was, how do you adjust based on what's happening? So if you throw the dice and you land it here and it splits like this, it means that it hit the wall hard. Now somebody says, well, no, it means that one die hit this bumper and it went this way, and one die hit that bumper and it went this way. I agree. But because of how hard it hit the wall, this is how much the dice travel. If it was a soft hit, the dice wouldn't have traveled that much. Let's see if that theory works. Well, that's the theory. That's the story we're telling as a DI, right? So let's try it. So I'm going to throw it with a little bit less velocity and a little bit further from the back wall. So this one is exactly what we're looking for. That one kind of landed funny, and so we're going to do it again. We're getting better though. We're getting where we want. These are the adjustments that we're making. We got the right velocity on one die. Let's see what else we can do. So instead of landing it over here, I want to land it over here now and try and keep it straight. You're on the wrong screen.
Oh, I am on the wrong screen. Sorry.
No worries. Instead of landing it here, I'm going to adjust. I'm going to land it right here and see what happens. This is what I do during practice at home. And in the casino, if you do it during practice at home in the casino, you'll be able to make the adjustments immediately because you've already practiced it at home. So I'm going to make the adjustment. Now I'm going to land it a little bit further than the back wall. Same toss, same velocity, but my landing zone is going to be a little bit further from the back wall. So we're going to go like this. Boom. The dice landed exactly where I wanted them, and they settled exactly what we wanted. So this works. Okay, I landed them a little bit further from the back wall. So this. Let's see, is that a fluke? Let's try it. Maybe it was a fluke. I don't know. But this looks like it's a sweet spot. So I'm going to do it again. We're going to land it right on that corner. Dice landed nice. All right, so now we know where the dice lands for stick left one. Let's say we show up and it's not open, but stick left two is open. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. We know where the landing zone is, but I gotta give it a little bit more oomph to get it there, right? Remember, we gotta land it here. But what I have to see is my little bit more oomph. How's that gonna affect the back wall? Or do I need to adjust something else? Maybe a little bit of height. I don't know. Let's try. So, do I need to go further now? This is the stuff that we do at the table, at home, so that we can practice like we play and play like we practice, as Ed would say. My good buddy Ed.
It's a good thing you said that, because I didn't catch you on the first one. I was going to let you get done talking. You stole somebody's saying, and the chat picked up on it.
Oh, I'm not stealing his saying. I'm reaffirming what he says. I said, my good buddy Ed, because it's true. Always do the same thing. Like I'm wearing the same shirt that I would usually wear to the casino, the same shoes. These shoes I will wear at the casino when I go. I try to make my environment as close to the casino environment. All right, so now whoa. So I threw it all the way to the back wall like I did from here, and I don't like the way it bounced. One die went like this, one die went in the air. So I gotta slow it down. That's not gonna work. So let me slow it down. Let me take it back just like I did from here. Let's see what works.
And we do have a couple questions, G, also.
Yep, just let me finish a few points here and then we can take them.
That's a good roll.
So I landed them in the right zone, right here. This may be okay, but what happens if I raise my toss just a tad? I raise it just a tad and lessen the velocity. The velocity is how hard you throw them. The height is the force is how high you throw it and they land. So you got to find the sweet spot. So I'm going to throw them a little bit higher, not a whole lot, just a tad, and lessen the velocity and see if they hit the same spot where I want them to. Okay, I like that. I like how they died. So a little bit of height, just a tad, with less velocity, gave me the right outcome, which they landed here and they died. They didn't scatter all over the place. That's how I practice. And so when I get to the casino and I throw, and if the dice is doing something funky, number one, I see, is it the bounce? Is it maybe a very, very bouncy table and maybe that's not the right toss that I need to do because it's very bouncy? Maybe I need to go to an underhand toss. If it's a hard surface, a very neutral hard surface, I'm not throwing from stick left one or right one. I'm going to go to the end and do my drop shot like the hard rock, because that's how that's a good toss for me to use. But from a I hope that this helped from a and even if you go to like the hook, like right here, now I got a long way. That's a lot of green to cover, right? But it's the same concept. How can I do it to where maybe a little bit more height, less velocity, let it land in the right spot, and then the dice die at the end?
Looks like you got a big jump on that one.
Yeah,
that one
it hit all the way up on the plastic in the rail, and it landed there. But I had to like really do an oomph on this to get it over there. So these are some of the adjustments that you have to make, and you practice. If you have a craps table, practice from these positions and make the adjustment, so that when you go to the casino, if your position is open, take it. If the next position is open and you practiced it, you know what to do, you feel comfortable. You're not gambling. You feel comfortable. And now everything is a gamble, right? But you're ahead because you've done the homework at home. So I'll pause here and take a sip of what I'm drinking, which is not alcohol, because I don't drink alcohol, and then take a few questions if you want.
All right, let's just remind the viewers that we do have a couple of giveaways coming up. He's got his coffee mug and a placemat that he's going to be giving away, and then we're going to be taking the 5 names for the G's jacket that is going to be given away. In our 12th episode of these shows, we do dice tossing techniques, and this show called So You Think You Know Craps, two a month. So we'll be giving away that jacket valued at over $250 in the month of December, so make sure you stick around for that. And also, if you are trying to put a question in. I know I've seen a lot of statements come through. I don't know if they're questions. I've pinned a couple. Please use a capital Q and a semicolon, sort of like what Dustin and Steph did these last couple chats, and you can see that we can read those. So let's go take a question here, G. Let me switch over here to this screen here and readjust my questions, and then we'll be able to put the questions up here. Question number one goes back to when you were measuring the tables, and I don't know if this is serious or not, but how did you get a scale in the casino? I don't know if he's being serious or not.
I think he's, but I'll show you. It's no big deal. I'll show you. You can.
Okay.
You can get this from Amazon.
Put that in your the one of the camera for the dice zoom cam.
Right here. It's right here.
Okay. Well, we can use that. Okay. I was going to get a little closer than that.
So you, it's got a laser measure, and then you put it at the end, on the table, and then it measures and it gives you exactly what it is. And I walked through all the tables and did it, and nobody said anything to me. And
all right, well,
and here's a hint. Here's a hint. If somebody says, "Excuse me, sir, what are you doing?" Saying, this is a hobby of mine, and I want to build some kind of a table at home, and I'm just taking measurements to see how high and stuff like that. Act dumb, right? So you can measure the tables by walking it, like you put your put shoe toe, and that's how I usually did it. But I tell you, this is a lot better, and I take this anywhere with me because this fits in one of my pockets. And as soon as I walk up to the table, I just put it down, and it takes 3 seconds, exactly 3 seconds to measure, and I know exactly where I need to stand on left one or right one, based on this. So, and it's not expensive. I think I paid $9.99 from Amazon. So
right.
you can step it, but
Here's a comment from Biff. I open up one of my ends of my practice tables with use of a TV tray with an elbow rest on my tossing rig. I can adjust the distance of my landing zone to any size as long as it fits any man cave dimensions.
Yes.
Practice rigs.
Yes.
Yep.
So you can, if you don't have a craps table, a full craps table, if you have something that that you made at home, even like straight out, you can measure 14. So by the way, it's 14 foot or 12 foot from outside the rail. Inside it's less. It's like 11 and a few inches. So always measure inside back wall to inside back wall. This is why stepping it with your feet always doesn't work, simply because you don't really know if your heel is right at the back wall. So always measure inside to inside. Rails are different sizes. The cushiony stuff, whatever you want to call it, this stuff right here on the rail is different. Some have it larger or deeper to the outside, so it affects the measurements. So always measure inside to inside, always.
All right.
And Dustin, I know you asked. It's called a it's called a laser distance meter or a range finder. The other reason why I like this is because it has the levelers. I don't know if you can see the leveler. You have one on the side and one on the bottom. So when I put it, I can see if the table is level or not. So it's a 2-for-1. It's a 2.
Let's move on to the next question. Arno wants to know, how long does it take you to adjust at a new table you never played on?
Within minutes, because I practice at home. You always hear me, Arnell, say practice my mechanics. I don't practice to have long rolls on my table. I practice my mechanics. I do tosses that doesn't make sense because the dice go all over the place, but it's for my mechanics. So when I go to the table, the first thing I do, they hand you 5 dice, right? They hand you 5 dice, correct? First thing I do when I get the dice, if there's nobody on the table, if there's, usually I take empty table or we go as a group, right? So nobody on the table, they give me the dice, I take it and I go like this. This tells me if it's bouncy or neutral, just based on the sound and the thud. If I hear thud, 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 that's a very bouncy table. If I hear a clump, clump, that's a very neutral table. And the second thing I do, you never work your bets on the come out, because this is where, you can use the come out as a range of what to do, right? So depending on the toss, but if I'm usually doing my 2-finger toss, I throw it exactly like I would at home. So I would pick it up and I would just throw it like this. And if the dice lands like it did, wrong screen.
Yeah, I can't get there. Gee,
Never mind, I'll wait for you.
you've changed screens on me, so I don't know what I'm doing here.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's me, not you. That's what
Yes, it
that's
is.
what that's what she told me before she walked out. It's not you, it's me. So I throw it, and if the dice lands just like that, I can say, "Oh, all right, this is closer to my table." If the dice go like this, or one die lands like that, and the other one goes, like this, okay, that is very bouncy. I need to adjust. So from my come out, Arnell, sorry, dice grinders, from the come out, I can tell, and immediately I can say, okay, do I need to switch tosses? Do I need to switch my mechanics or do something? I may decide, you know what, I really don't want to play on this table and just do it like a 6 and 8 or a 9-10 field or something, just to kind of throw the dice and see if I can get something going and move away. I usually do walkabouts also, like when I used to go to Vegas or even in Biloxi. I play early in the morning when there's nobody on the table. I do walkabouts at night. I go at night and I look at the tables and I look at people shooting the dice, and I can see what the dice is doing. And then I'll say, that's a table I want to try. No, I'm not going to play on that table. So there are different things you can do, especially if you're going for a long trip. If you're a local, you know what the table does simply because you go there every time. I hope that helps. Thanks,
Here's a comment.
I know.
Here's a comment from Biff. Oh, I already did that one. There was another one. Oh, this
Yeah,
one here. I want to
we
put
did that
Nelson's up there. Sorry, I did. Landing zone is so crucial, especially when other players play, that the I believe he means pass line. I always ask them to move it, and most are willing to move it. Although there are occasional jerks that will not move their
Right.
bets. How do you address that, G? I know we
So-
play as a group, and we have people that are blockers.
Right,
but
right.
it's a good question.
So with me, I play with a group where they're very respectful and they don't put the chips in the landing zone, or I'm at an empty table. But different casinos have different layouts, and people say, "Oh, I put chips and practice." You don't know what the layout in the casino is going to look like. So the chips could be further from the back wall or next to the back wall, or. So the best thing to do is that you have to make a decision. Is this the right time for me to throw dice with all these landmines, or do I need to just walk away and come back for a better time? Because simply put, let me tell you why I'm saying this, and I'm going to switch back. Okay, if I have chips in my way, where I'm trying to land the dice, if somebody's standing here, and I have, bets, which I usually don't, but I have bets like right here, and right here. And then somebody has bets right here and right here, right? So I have a clear shot right here, let's just say. But what does this mean? What does this mean? I throw the dice from here straight down. So it's a straight shot, right? Yeah, there we go. It's a straight shot. Now I have to throw it over here. What does it mean? It means that it's an angle, right? I either have to go out so that it can be a straight shot, which I practice. You guys have seen me practice all the way up here. Or I have to angle. Jeff, just go to the usual. You should be able to see my four. Yeah, just leave it here for a second, please. So I either have to move my dice at an angle so that they can go there instead of straight, or I have to go out. And you've seen me practice, leaning down and going out. This is why. I know there are some YouTubers that made fun of it, and other people made fun. It's like, what the hell is G doing? He's sleeping on the table, whatever. This is called practice. If I have to adjust my toss to move away from here and then go to the center, I don't want to go this way. I want to go straight. Why? Because if you're coming down, you want the dice to hit the back wall as flat as possible. If you're coming at an angle, you're going to hit it at an angle. You're going to add a lot more variance. Your dice is going to go in here or over there, and you don't want that. I see a lot of dice throwers do this mistake to where they stand here and they throw the dice in the middle at an angle. I mean, it's physics, folks. So if the dice is coming like this, it's going to land like this, and it's going to hit the back wall at an angle. You don't want it to do that. So how do you adjust? If you can't move up, and then throw the dice like that, of course the screen wasn't on there, so I'll do it again, and hopefully I can do it. That's all right. That's all right. Just leave it here. Leave it here for a while.
I will.
Jeff, please. So I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna move up, and then hit the landing zone and try and get away from the chips. Or I'm just gonna pass the dice, honestly, because it's not optimum. If I throw the dice from here sideways, that angle may not affect it a whole lot, but it does to me, because I know in my head, physics, the dice is gonna hit sideways. I hope that makes sense.
Okay. Let's move on to another question or comment. Let me see what we have here. And for those of you that are putting your questions in here, make sure you do it with a capital Q in the questions, and then G and I can pin them and I can get them to the questions like that. Capital Q with a semicolon afterwards will work great. So let's go over here and take a look at the next question.
I appreciate all the nice statements.
Well, I have to get past all these comments that I pinned where you used Ed saying practice like you play and pray like you practice. About 6 people wanted to copyright you on that and send you to the copyright police for that before you said something.
That's all right.
We've already done that question.
I have something going on where every time I say it, I have to give Ed $1. So I owe him, what, $5 tonight? What kind of toss do you recommend at a stadium craps table? Ooh, so either I'm not going to mention the name, but that stack toss that people have, that has caused a lot of the problems, or a low drop shot. I will tell you, though, I've had great success with Howard's Dice Magic toss. And those are the 3 tosses that I will use at a stadium craps.
All right, let's take another question here. It comes from Dustin. That question is about microfiber being heavily worn on a table.
Microfiber heavily worn on a table is going to make it more neutral. A brand new microfiber on a table, especially a stretched one, is going to make it bouncy. It's going to take it time to settle. So if you see a microfiber that's worn a little bit, that table may be playable. Brand new micro. So we covered this early on in the series or in other series on layouts. The more you stretch the layout and staple it, the bouncier it gets. It doesn't matter if it's a microfiber or felt. Microfiber is more, unfortunately. Felt, you can stretch it. It may bounce a little bit, but it takes time to settle. The microfiber, the more you stretch it, and you can stretch a microfiber pretty well. I've done it before here on my table. The stretchier it is, the bouncier it gets. When you check bouncy dice, are you looking for dice that are less nicked up? Arnell, are you talking about like sharp dice or worn out dice? I want sharp dice. The more worn out, the rounder they are, the more variance they add. So I like sharp dice. I hope that's what you're asking. My preference is sharp dice. I usually look at the dice. I look at the serial number, make sure that they're giving me the same serial numbers. Those who played with me in Biloxi, especially on the private table, you've seen me several times say, "Hey, when did you switch dice on us?" Where other people didn't catch it, because as soon as they come to me, I look at the serial number, and it's not the same serial number we started with. So I usually look at it. If it has like blemishes, like really bad nicks, I may say something to the pit, but usually the pit boss is good at not keeping dice that's nicked up. But I want it sharp. If it's not sharp, like this, these are casino tiers, and they're very sharp. These are fairly new open from the get together a couple of Saturdays ago over here.
All right, there's a comment from Caveman, who was down in Biloxi with us. I have had blockers move chips, and flipping dealer would move them back directly in front of me and claim that they had to be there.
Yes, sometimes you have, unfortunately, you got some bad dealers, just like you have, people that are paid by the casinos to come in and mess with your toss. Folks, let me give it to you straight, and you've heard me say that. If you are on the table by yourself, on stick left or stick right, and somebody comes in and stand opposite where you're throwing the dice, and they're playing the don't, that's a casino plant. They told that person to go and sit there because they don't like what you're doing. 10 times out of 10 times. The other time is that could be an a-hole that wants to make money off the don't, and they're putting their chips exactly so they can make their $10 and leave. I've seen both.
I resemble that remark way back when. God Complex, who is a bona fide 30-year plus casino pit boss, and says that they change the dice every 8 hours, major shift changes. So there you have it.
And sometimes I've seen them go for 12 hours, because it's a small local casino, and
I think it's based on the casino itself and their procedures. Yeah. Waylon says thanks for taking a look at his
Waylon, yes. So Waylon, can I change subjects for like 2 minutes here? I promise I won't stay long. Waylon, I tried your toss, and with my sticky fingers I couldn't do it. However, my friend, I did it with this grip right here, diagonal, and I was able to kind of get it exactly to what I wanted. So Jeff, if you don't mind switching.
I'm ready. Yeah.
You ready? So I hooked it, but you can tell. So I like that toss. That's the Waylon toss. He did a video on it, and I love that. I love the fact that I can adjust my hand further in or out, depending on the table bounce, and get him to lay down at the end of the table. I've been practicing that toss. I'm going to try it out when I hit the casino. So I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for putting out that video.
All right, Rick says that your home practice rig, you need to change the dice often.
Yeah, you're going to buy me dice?
Well,
You do it until the dice start, it starts to get dull. Once the dice starts to get dull, then you change it. And yes, I do change it. People that have been here, they've seen I have like, at least 100 pair of dice sitting there, right there.
All right, G, you're not going to believe this. It's been 45 minutes into the show. You need to tell me what we're doing first so I can set that up, but I'm going to continue to let you talk. So tell me what giveaway we're doing first.
We're going to do the drawings for the jackets. We're going to talk a little bit more, and then we're going to do the drawings for the mug and
well, you talk a little more because I have it backwards, I think, but I'm going to go with what you said. So
if you have it backwards, we'll go with what you got. We'll go with what you got. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm just looking here which way I had it set up. But in any event, real quick, what's coming up 2 weeks from tonight with the dice tossing technique show?
We're going to do the par toss / on access toss.
Okay, we're actually good for either one. With either one of the giveaways that you want to do, G, I'm okay. I got the password in there. I understand what it is.
I have my pen and paper here ready if you want to do the jackets.
Well, let's go ahead and give them the password that we need to put in here, and I need to. You really took me off. You really took me off my game here tonight, G, and I'm looking for how am I supposed to put this in here? So let me do this real quick. The first giveaway is the 5. We're doing 5 jackets, right?
Correct.
We said okay.
Well, so no. We're drawing 5 names. I don't know how many jackets we're going to give away.
Yeah, like I said, we're drawing 5 names. All right. So that's not it, guys. Don't pay attention to that. I thought I had it set up. Let me take that out of there before you get there. It's Win in July. It's WININJULY. Win in July is we're going to take the 5 qualifiers for G's jacket to be given away in the month of December on our 12th show of So You Think You Know Craps and Dice Tossing Techniques. So Win in July is the word. As soon as somebody puts it on there, I'll pin it up there. I have another question here, G. As soon as I get discombobulated here from what I'm doing, I'll switch this around. You threw me off on that one. Let's see here. This comes from Troy. Okay, G, I know you've probably already shown it, but at some point, can you show us how you grip the dice from straight out? Oh, and from stick left 2 while shooting the dice magic toss. Yeah.
Troy, for the sake of time, we did a whole series, like not the last one, but the one before that. It was on dice magic, and it was on throwing it from straight out and from the stick left. And it's a step by step. You're better off going and watching that instead of me trying to explain it in like a minute. And I'm not trying to punch you off or anything, but we did a whole series on it, and it's you'll probably benefit more if you watch it. If you still have questions, or if you still want me to show it on a later episode, you can just email me, and I will, my friend. I'll always do that. But I want to get through some of what we're trying to do tonight.
All right, let's see here. G, I had another one. Biff says that he likes to use automated sandpaper to refresh his dice. Have you ever heard of that?
Ooh, no. I don't like. So I don't like to do anything to manipulate the dice. I would rather just pay for a brand new stick of dice, because so here's Biff. Here's the thing. The casinos don't do that. They don't refresh their dice with sandpaper. So I wouldn't.
All right. Switching over, G. I'm getting ready to bring the screen up here for our giveaway. It's Win in July. WININJULY. This will be 5 names. We'll be drawing them. There's 55 people currently watching, and I'm trying to see how many we had entered so far. We have 29 of 55 people that have entered, so we'll give it just a few more seconds. So this show today called Location, Location, Location. I think you covered that fairly well in the first segment of the show. But when we talk about So You Think You Know Craps, we're doing some more shows, and we took a user's request for this show tonight. So we want to put that back out there. If anybody has a suggestion for a show, put it in the chat, or even better, maybe even email it to you at the originalgargoyle@gmail.com.
So yes, and a few of the shows we did before, people in the chats have put in a suggestion, even though we covered it like maybe a year ago in some of our other shows, but it's a good one to bring back, which is etiquette at the table. You know, what to do and what not to do. I think it's always a good reminder. So we may throw that in, but anything you want us to talk about, just either put it in a comment, put it in the chat, or email it to either myself or Jeff, and we'll take time to talk about. I know that there's another segment of this that we haven't covered, and we may not get to it tonight. We may have to do it in the next one, which is what kind of adjustments do you make on your grip and toss based on what your dice is doing? That was the second comment that was asked. And that could be an entire show by itself. And I may do a little bit during the dice tossing techniques, and then do the rest on our craps conversation, next month.
All right, let's go ahead and give these 5 names away for G's Jacket. I had to remember which one we're doing because I had it backwards. So let me switch over to this screen. Hopefully it'll work. Close enough. Let me just slide that over just a little bit so we can see the names of people. Don't you do that. I did not want that to do that. Thank you. There we go. There's some names. All right, so last call, win in July, all one word, no spaces, nothing else in the chat, WININJULY, win in July, and that we'll go ahead and give away these 5 giveaways. And I've got a couple comments, G, when we come back before we finish up with the next segment, before we actually give away the coffee mug and the G Gargoyle placemat. Boy, I am backwards in this. Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and switch the screen here, and we'll go ahead and give these away. I am going to be taking 5 guesses. I'm trying to get so I can push the button because it's really low on the screen today. I'm not exactly sure. Let me see what happens if I do this. Nope, that does not help it at all. All right, here we go, guys. I'm going to try to do this the right way. First name in 3, 2, 1. Cynthia, Mrs. Big Money is qualifier number 1. We're taking 4 more qualifiers. So, Cynthia, congratulations. You're qualified for the December giveaway of the G's Jacket. Let's go to number 2 in 3, 2, and 1. Lee Hook. Lee is a winner. Lee, congratulations. You are now a qualifier for G's Jacket. Number 3 qualifier coming up in 3, 2, and 1. Big Sweet Lou. Sweet Lou is qualifier number 3. Let's go on to qualifier number 4 in 3, 2, and 1. Amy Goodell. G-U-D-G-E-L. G on that name. Amy Goodell. I think it's out. Goodell. There we go. G-U-D-J-E-L. And the final qualifier for tonight's show is 3, 2, and 1. Stoney, otherwise known as Stonewall Jackson, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, that really is his name. It is. One heck of a nice guy, too, I may add. G, we've got a couple of comments I want to put in here. G said, Arnell says a good show would be suggest show betting progressions, please, from low to high buy-in, from low buy-in to high. That's a suggestion for a show. We've got Jacob from Wager Me This checking in with us. Hey, Jacob, how are you? EF says that some new casino dice are not completely equal. I'm not sure what he means by that. I know a lot of Indian tribal casinos are not regulated, maybe. Most major state casino gaming commissions regulate the size of dice, the which they can use and what they must weigh. But I don't know, in between here and there, I don't know that I've never seen unequal dice with the same serial number. Gee, have you ever experienced that?
No, not with the same serial number. They usually they can get in a lot of trouble. They can get in a lot of trouble if they muck with dice, especially same serial number. The same serial number means that it's the same mold, size, maybe different color, but
And weight. Yeah.
and yeah, same mold, size, and weight.
Yeah. Here's a chat from GC God Complex. 3 topics in craps: 1 throw, 2 craps dedicated, and 3 proper betting to anticipate both bad rolls and once in a lifetime rolls. I always miss those once in a lifetime rolls there, GC. I can tell you that. I'm never there. I am never there.
So God Complex, you got my email. Send me an email with a little bit more info on, on that. And I wrote them down, but send me an email so that I know exactly what to kind of put together to talk about. Throw could mean anything. So I appreciate if you would do that, my friend.
All right. All right, G, go ahead, carry it away for a couple seconds while I set up this next thing and go on with your next topic. Just so you know, G, we're at the 1 hour mark. Just so you know, I know you get carried away, but we're there.
Yep. No worries. So whoever asked for the topic on how do we make adjustments depending on what is being observed on the dice behavior. So like, what is your dice doing? We'll either do it on the next dice tossing technique, or this could be a segment on its own the next time, because yes, there are certain things, if your dice are going to the left, to the right, sideways, splitting, all that stuff, that's a grip toss, that we can talk about. And also depends on, what kind of toss you're using. If you're using a par toss, then you may want to do this. If you're using an underhand toss or a drop shot, then what adjustments you make. So it depends on the toss, but we can talk about that.
Okay.
I promise I won't forget it. It's written down, so we'll definitely do that.
Biff says, I can't display it at the moment. Let me switch to the screen here. Biff says that some casinos may save money buying from unregulated suppliers on the internet. I could see smaller casinos in states that may just started, but your major gaming commissions, the Gaming Commission in Nevada, California, and New Jersey. I can't speak for Mississippi. I don't know, and I don't know any of these other states that have gotten it. Maryland has just now taken over the regulation of the size of the dice, the weight of the dice, where they can buy them from, and they have to be certified. They are subject to inspection by the Gaming Commission. All the gaming, even playing cards, whatever they are, whatever the mechanism is there, is subject to inspection.
Yeah.
So,
I'll tell you if the penalty for mucking up with a craps table, whether it's dice or something, it's in the millions and millions of dollars penalty. It's not like $10,000 penalty or something. The recovery for the casino to make enough money to pay the penalty, it's not worth it. I will tell you that for a fact. God Complex may add onto that, but most casinos, it's not worth it. They would rather tell you can't set the dice, or they'll do some stuff to kind of keep you from having a longer roll than mucking with the dice itself. How are you tracking your rolls? Me, when I'm shooting. That's easy.
you have Jen there.
Either from my betting, so I can look at what I have on the table, and I can know how many rolls I have, especially like if I'm doing the 640 across, or with the dollar, the dollar chips. So I start with $1 chip, 2, 3, 4, and then if it's 5 rolls, I put a red chip. and then and red and one, red and two, red and three, red and four, and then two reds, and then two reds and one, two reds and two, and that's how I track it if I need to track it on my rail. So so it's either by my betting, because my betting progression, it's pretty much the same all the time, or by chip counts. So $1 white chip is one, $5 is five. If I get to 25, it'll be a green chip. If I get to 100, it'll be black chip, and then it'll be like, okay, now gee, you're just making shit up.
Yeah. Golf Complex adds this in. I think, I'm not sure which one he's talking about. I think he mentioned the name Huxby's, but he left that out of there. No casino will get dice other than from TK or Polson. No other casino would risk biased dice, and they may go against in their favor. So I think that's true.
Yeah. The penalty is not worth it. I'll tell you right now, the penalty is not worth it. It happened to a casino in Vegas some time ago, and it was publicized, and it took them a long time to recover, not just from the penalty that they did, but people would not go and play in the casino. They lost customers because they're like, oh, you're cheaters. And they had to change ownership, name, and that was like 15 years ago, and it took a long time for them to recover. It's not worth it. I'll tell you right now, it's not worth it. They'll rather muck with you on, you can't set the dice, you can't do this, you can't do that.
I do know where the Craps Nation buys their dice from is the only supplier the state of New Jersey will allow casinos to buy from.
Yep.
So,
and I was going to say, if this video is out and other people are watching it, that's not part of the community. If you like what you see, like and subscribe for others. This is Jeff's channel. I'm just a host. I'm just like invited. Sorry, he's the host. I'm an invited.
You might as well be the host. You'd be the hostess with the mostest. All right, G. Anything else you want to cover before we get to the next giveaway? And good point here from Arnell. He happens to know where in Juliet at Harrah's they get their dice from Polson as well. So I don't think casinos are buying off some internet Yahoo company that's making them with bad materials.
It's not worth it. Some of the more prominent casinos, and usually, I go play at the prominent casinos. If there's like a little hole in the wall that's opened up, I stay away from it because you never know. But I won't go there.
Yep. All right, so go ahead, G. You were getting ready to say something. I cut you off.
No, I was going to say I'm not sure how many are watching, but if you like what you see, it's easy. Hit that thumbs up and give Jeff a like on what you're seeing. It helps the channel.
Yes, it does. G, have we covered everything? Are we going to move on to the next giveaway, or are you? Did we leave something out of your bullet points?
Or we can. If you have more questions, I'll answer them.
No, we've covered the questions off topic. Let me see here. Topic: cards versus dice. I'm not sure what that means, Dustin, so I'm not going to put that up there. I don't see it, but I am ready to do the next giveaway whenever you may feel like it. Like we said, tonight's show was based on location. I think you basically said it, G. If you're watching this on the replay, please put a comment in the comment. We answer every comment that there is. Either I say thank you for the comment and G answers it, or if I know the answer, I put it in there and then he comes back and corrects me.
No worries. Final comment, if there are no more questions before we do the giveaway. If you practice from different positions at home and the mechanics, even if you just do the mechanics, just throw a few every now and then and just see how it feels. It won't feel like a shock or awkward if you walk up to the casino and don't have your position, because you've already thrown it several times on your table. And when I say several times, several hundred times or several thousand times. I've been doing this for so long that it doesn't matter if I'm on position 1, 2, 3, or straight out. They're all natural to me because of how many times I've thrown and practiced them. If I had a penny for every time I heard somebody in the casino say, well, that's not my shooting position, but I'll give it a shot, I wouldn't be on YouTube. I would be a millionaire. If that's not what your shooting position in and what you have practiced, then no, don't give it a shot. Don't risk your money or somebody else's money on, hey, I'll just give it a whirl. I mean, are we, what are we really doing here? So you, it doesn't take much. Just like you have your mechanics um, practiced for one position, you can move other positions. And I will. This is what I'll tell you. And people look at me funny when I say this. If you don't want to mess up if you're a right-hander and you stand on stick left and do a par toss, right? And you don't want to muck with your mechanics because this is just that's what you do. Go to the left and try throwing a different toss with your right hand, or try doing the par toss with your left hand. That way, it's a different toss. It doesn't muck your mechanics on what you're used to. But guess what? Now you have two options. You can go to stick left or stick right and use a different technique that doesn't hurt your mechanics. If you can't make the adjustments, on your right hand for all these. I tell folks, would you like to learn a different toss? Throw it differently. Or would you like to learn with your left hand? The folks that come over here every other week, I make them switch hands. I make them. I say, look, try it. Stand here and throw with your left hand and see what it feels
No,
like.
not doing it.
Well, you won't do it, but others would.
Well, it's because I
guess
never get
what?
an invite. Nobody invites me to come down there.
You have an open invitation. All you gotta say is, when, and I will fly you down here. And you got a BNB, bring it BYOB, and all that stuff. You got a BYOB because I don't have it. But anything else,
I
have a
don't
BNB.
drink either. So anything you would have there will be fine, except
Yeah.
for those nasty Oreo cookies that you dip in your coffee. I'm not doing that.
Hey,
All right.
there's nothing nasty about them. There's nothing
Here's
nasty
a-
about them. And
Here's an
and
excellent
look,
comment.
and look at my hand. I eat Oreos all the time. Look at my hand.
I'm not
the only
looking.
problem
I got
is this
I got a
this is
show
my
to
dust
run.
going in.
I got a show to run. See, even Ed says very few are capable of switching hands, and I agree
But
with
you
Ed.
don't know until you try. You don't know
Um,
until you try. And
oh.
where is the best place to try?
If
At
you ever
home.
if you're ever playing with me and I've gotten irritated at a player or at some decision that the table has made, you will see me pull my bets down with the exception of my line bet, and if I have an ATS up, I'm picking them up with my left hand and I'm chunking them against the wall.
I know, but you never know until you try, and the best place to try is at home. And let's say you're right-handed, right? And you always shoot right-handed. Um, go to the right side of the table and do a different toss. See if you can do an underhand toss. See if you can do an inline toss like Arnell, or it's different mechanics, so it won't muck with your regular shot. You never know until you try, but do not try, please, for the love of everything. Do not try these at the casino. Try it at
Well,
home.
I would agree with
where
that.
It doesn't cost you money.
I would agree with that. All right. Let's see here. We need some
Wait.
more entries.
So
we got,
Ed is online watching the show now, right?
I'm assuming
I-
so. He just chatted, so I'm
Okay,
going to assume
good.
so.
So Ed, I owe you $5 for
Five.
trademark. I
All right.
mentioned practice like you play black. Oh shit! And now I owe him $6.
Oh, look, you said it again. Well, let me plug this. Maybe this will make it up to him. Guys, if you're not listening to the Casino Tears podcast with 10 Ton and Ed, you definitely need to get over there. I happen to know a few people that they've recorded with here recently, and looking forward to those podcasts. And you can always check the full episode at their Patreon page as well. And that's my plug for Casino Tears, hoping to get some dice from them to give away in the month of December. Oh my goodness! All right, Jay. What else? Anything else? Ready to give this this mug away? Give your mug away.
Let's give the mug and the my mug, the mug and the placemat.
Oh, let me put this up here. Ardell says that he saw he saw a regular today throw underhanded, and she did very good. Well, two keywords there: underhanded, and it was a female throw-in. So I think that
Overhand.
is really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I love tossing overhand.
You're
Howard
welcome,
taught me
Ed.
the overhand toss. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just put in a good word to 10 ton for me, Ed. I need some dice to give away. I don't think we're going to get the Craps Nation order in and have it in time by then. So, in any event, so let's go ahead and give this away. Are we ready? I think so.
Yep.
Let me switch screens. Please be there. Whoa! Modern technology. All right, this is a one winner only. This is a winner, not a qualifier. So if you win tonight, you have to head over to midatlanticcraps.com. Promotion tab, which is there's a menu bar at the top, middle of the menu, 2 or 3 lines down. There's a blue tab that says "Claim My Prize." Please, if I can tell you, because G will call me tomorrow afternoon and say, "Where's the name? Who won? Send it to me." If you don't fill it out, I can't send it to him because G ships from Atlanta. Or wherever he lives in Georgia. Yeah, so please, midatlanticcraps.com, promotion tab. Please fill that information out. Claim your prize. And please, city, state, and zip. It says city, state, and zip. People just seen the city. They put the city in there. They forget the state and the zip. So with further ado, let's go ahead and give this away. Here we go. Did I call a vinyl call? G Smug. GSMUG, G's Mug. So we do these shows twice a month. This is So You Think You Know Craps, coming back with episode 8, 4 weeks from tonight. And we have episode 8 of Dice Tossing Techniques coming up 2 weeks from tonight. On a Tuesday, they're always Tuesday, about 8:30, 8:45 start time. G, Dice Tossing Techniques again is what coming up?
We're going to do the part toss / on access toss.
Okay, there you have it. You heard it from the man. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Brian P.
BS.
I'm thinking he
No.
already has both of those, but maybe not.
No, he doesn't. But I'm calling BS on that. No, Brian, congratulations, my friend. Yes,
Yeah.
he needs to go in and put in his address, and he will get the mug and the placemat.
Look who just showed up. We mentioned her earlier in the show. We've got the Justice Jen. She says, late as always. Yes, we mentioned you earlier. Somebody asked in the chat, Jen, how do you track your rolls? And we say, bring Justice Jen along. That's what we said.
Yes, yes, yes. Let her write them down.
Yeah. All right.
All right, Brian, if you're still on, you need to, and if he's not on, I'll text him and say, hey, dude, you won. Although you went to bed early, you need to go and put in the info, or he can text me his address. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, either one, either way. But I like to have the records of what I give away, because somebody will say, "I didn't win. Did you put it in?" So you know, they won and didn't receive it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Miss Shake and Bake, pulled him off the computer and now he's doing something else.
Why you call her Miss Shake and Bake?
Because. Well, I don't know. She took a few lessons with Dice Coach, so I don't know if. Brian. I don't know if we can call her Shake and Bake anymore because she is setting the dice and throwing it. So we need to come up with a better name for her. The reason why we call her Miss Shake and Bake is because the first time we saw her throw is that she took the dice, started shaking it, and threw it all over the place. So Ed,
I don't know if Brian. Brian
now I
means
gotta
this.
pay another $1 because Ed is the one that gave her the.
Shake and Bake.
Shake and Bake.
Brian says draw again. I don't know if that's serious or not. Brian, I don't know if you're serious. We've already given it away, and I was just about ready to wrap the show up, so I don't know if that was, if you were being serious or not. So, accidentally. We're going to let it go. Brian, you're the winner. You can take it out with G. Please fill it out on my form, midatlanticcraps.com. G, anything else that you want to say before we say goodnight?
Nope. Appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate your likes and comments. I wrote down some good suggestions for future events. So you know how to reach us. Email, comments. I answer comments. I answer email. Those of you who have my phone number, if you need something, just text me. But we really appreciate you hanging on with us and letting us do this with you guys and gals.
All right. Getting some comments in here. Thank you, Wesley, for that one. That's Florida Crap Shooters. Thanks, Jeff and G, for another great show. We appreciate those comments. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, hit the comments if you're watching this on the rerun. Please put any question you may have or any comment about the show in there. We'd like to see it. It helps the algorithm. It also entices us to bring you more content like this. So without further ado, G, thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that. I've seen you come out, Jacob, here a little bit in the last couple of weeks with some stuff I just haven't been able to watch, and maybe you and I should talk sometime. I think that's going to be it. So, G, without further ado, I'm going to say thank you for coming on the show tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for another interesting topic, because sometimes I never know, based on the topic, whether or not we're going to cover what you want to cover. Because I honestly, guys, I don't see the notepad or the bullet points or the script. I'm just sitting here in Maryland producing the show. G's down there in Georgia, and he's just with me.
I like to keep you on your toes. I like to keep you on your toes.
Well, I'm sitting, but I don't know if you could hear a minute ago. Bailey's asleep at my feet as she was barking in her sleep. I had to tell her to be quiet while you were talking. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get out of here. Thank you, Lou. Have a good night, too. We'll see you on the next one 2 weeks from tonight. I'm not sure what the date is without looking at the calendar. It's Dice Tossing Techniques, the Par Shot. We'll see you. It's 8:30 Eastern, 8:45 Eastern, somewhere in there. So just your time frame. Till then, guys, on behalf of G and myself, have yourself a great night. God bless each and every one of you. Remember what it says at the bottom of the screen there, because it does. And we'll see you on the next one. As always, be safe, play smart.